Ladies, thank you for joining me tonight. If we haven't met before, I'm Coach Jonathan. I'm the founder and head coach of the Fit Woman Formula. And for well over a decade now, I've helped women over 35 lose weight, regain their energy, and feel confident without restrictive diets, living in the gym, or burning themselves out, or useless supplements. Okay, tonight we're talking about the supplements. We're going to talk about what actually helps with weight loss and energy and what you should stop wasting your money on. And again, a lot of you ladies are wasting money on supplements. I can tell you that for an absolute fact. Now, before we get into this here, okay, if you're live with me, again, just drop a little wave or a thumbs up or something like that, just so I know you're here with me. If you have any questions, drop them in even as I'm talking here, okay? I will get to those questions at the end, I promise. And if you're watching the replay, go ahead and drop questions in and I'll answer them as soon as I can, okay? Now, I want to start with something really important here. Again, ladies, you are wasting an unbelievable amount of time, money, and energy on supplements that don't work, okay? We're talking about detoxes, we're talking about fat burners, hormone balancers, cortisol control, okay? These all natural GLP-1 supplements that you're seeing. Most of these are not designed to help you succeed, okay? And this part might sound harsh, but it really matters. A big chunk of the supplement industry actually makes more money when you fail, okay? Think about it. The more frustrated you get, the more desperate you feel. And the more desperate you are, the more likely you are to just try the next thing, okay? There is a lot of money in you not getting results and a lot of money in you failing. And that's why tonight isn't more of what you're seeing all the time on social media, okay? This isn't about selling you some miracle supplement. It's about helping you to stop wasting your time and money and focus on what actually works, all right? Now, first, I want to talk a little bit about what to stay away from, okay? Here are just some red flags that you need to be thinking about, all right? If a supplement promises fast weight loss without changing how you eat or live, that is a red flag. If it claims to detox your body or reset your hormones, that is a big fat red flag. And if you don't clearly know what's in a supplement by looking at the label, that's a red flag. We're going to talk about that a little bit more in just a second here. And if it's specifically marketed towards women, like it says for women on it, that's another big red flag, okay? Most supplements made for women are using the same ingredients as the ones for men, okay? It's just wrapped up in pink packaging. It's good marketing is what it is, okay? You're paying more for it because it sounds better, not because it works better. This is known as the pink tax. Have any of you ladies that are watching, have you heard the term the pink tax before? I hope so, okay? Now, one example, I'll just put it this way. There are very few supplements that truly need to be different for women, okay? One example that might kind of be a gray area is like a women's multivitamin, okay, that includes like higher iron or higher magnesium. But really, that's something that I could take, and it would be beneficial for me too. Outside of that, 99% of the time, what works for men also works for women. You're just being charged more and promised more, okay? This is all a bunch of crap. It's a bunch of noise, all right? Now, I want to change the way that you think about supplements. So supplements should really be supporting habits that you're already working on. They shouldn't be replacing them, okay? Simple always beats complex. Clear labels are always going to beat fancy claims. If you don't understand what it's supposed to do, you probably don't need it, all right? Now, I'm going to go into this a little bit more in depth here in a moment, but here are a few supplements that can actually help, okay? These are a few supplements that can actually help. Now, before I show you anything, I want to be really clear about this. Supplements aren't a magic bullet, okay? They're not going to replace eating well. They're not going to replace consistency. They don't replace sleep or movement. But when used the right way, okay, listen closely, ladies, a few of them can absolutely support fat loss, energy, and recovery, especially for women over 35. Now, inside the Fit Woman formula, there's really only a handful of supplements that we consistently recommend, okay? And I'm just going to touch on a few of them. Number one would be whey protein, because most women are severely under eating protein, especially earlier in the day from what I've seen. Now, protein helps you to stay full. It supports muscle, okay, lean muscle mass. It stabilizes your blood sugar. And it makes fat loss a lot easier. This is a tool really to make consistency easier, and I highly recommend it. Now, number two would be creatine, okay? Creatine goes way beyond strength and muscle, okay? And creatine does things like helps with strength, helps with recovery. It does help preserve and build lean muscle, okay, which directly supports your metabolism. Remember, the more lean muscle mass you have, the more calories you're burning at rest, and that's really what you need to be thinking about, ladies, is the amount of muscle mass you're losing over 35. That's why losing weight and losing body fat becomes harder, okay? There's also a lot of growing research around brain health and mental fatigue, okay, which a lot of women struggle with, especially going into the perimenopause and menopausal years. So, creatine is one of these things that can have a huge impact on really buffering the effects that perimenopause and menopause have on women, okay? So if that's something you're having a tough time with right now, any of those side effects, I highly recommend looking at creatine, okay? Now, creatine, it's been getting a lot. I'll put it this way. This is something that we've been recommending for, again, about a decade now, okay, to all of the ladies that come in. There's two supplements out of what I'm sharing with you here that we recommend to everyone, okay? I'm just kind of giving you a broader look at this. Now, I'm going to show you in a minute what I specifically recommend buying, okay, and how to actually pick out a good supplement and choose good supplements like creatine without getting ripped off, okay? So if you want to learn how to do that, you want to learn how to get the most out of these supplements, okay? You need to watch this all the way through here because I'm going to show you exactly what it is. And no, I'm not trying to make any money off of you, okay? That's one of the big differences here. All right, the next one would be vitamin D. Now, this is not sexy at all, but it's one that all of you ladies should be taking, okay? Low vitamin D is linked to low energy, mood issues, weakened immune system, and difficulty losing weight. And the truth is, most women aren't getting enough from sunlight alone, and you're not going to get it just from milk or other places or other foods in your diet. This is something that you need to be supplementing with 100%, okay? Again, not sexy, but I highly recommend it. And I want to be clear, can have a direct impact on weight loss as well. And that's something, a little side note worth mentioning. There aren't going to be any supplements, really, for the most part, that directly cause you to lose weight. What they do is they make weight loss easier, okay? Now, the next one I'm going to mention is kind of obvious. It's caffeine, all right? This needs to be used intentionally, not abused, okay? Caffeine can support focus, of course, workouts, but using it to survive exhaustion usually backfires, okay? A lot of you ladies are, having a tough time getting going in the morning. And look, I'm not knocking caffeine. Like, I love my caffeine. I love my coffee. I will say for whatever reason, getting, later into my 30s here, almost into my 40s, I have like kind of a weird caffeine intolerance thing going on. I've had to dial it way back. But we can't be surviving on that. Women especially cannot be surviving on this, okay? Number one, you shouldn't need to. Number two, it also increases your cortisol, okay? Your stress hormones. That's one of the biggest issues when it comes to being able to lose weight, okay? So we don't want it stressing your body out even more. So timing and moderation really matter here when it comes to caffeine, okay? Now, magnesium is the last one I'm going to mention here, okay? And this is kind of a bonus one. And really, this is about supporting recovery, sleep, and stress. So this one is one where a lot of ladies that take this notice a difference very quickly, okay? Especially if sleep quality is an issue. Now, that's all I'm going to cover. I'm going to get into some details. I'm going to show you what to be looking for, kind of where you should be buying this stuff, okay? Again, I'm not looking to make any money here. You need to stick around. Again, if you have any questions, okay, you're watching. Ladies, I get questions from you all the time in my DMs about supplements. I see some of you watching here. I don't see any questions coming in, okay? If you want clarity around this, ask the questions, please. This is why I'm doing this. I'm sick of you ladies getting scammed. Okay? Most of you have gotten scammed at some point in time. You've bought some bullshit supplement. Let's stop that. Can we stop that in 2026? Okay, great. If you have questions, drop them below so I can clear this stuff up for you. Okay? Now notice I didn't mention any detoxes. I didn't mention any fat burners. No hormone reset pills or anything like that. Okay, which brings me to the next part here, okay? What I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen with you, okay? And what I'm going to show you is our Amazon storefront, okay? Now, I want to be really clear and upfront about this. You do not have to buy anything from here, okay? If you do, I make a few cents, okay? We have a lot of ladies that come into our program that choose to buy stuff here, and that's fine, okay? I make a few cents at most. This isn't about commission. This is about clarity. The reason that I really, just so you understand, that I put this together a while back is because we were making recommendations to ladies in our program, and they were still going and buying stuff that I was really wanting them to steer away from. So the best thing that I could do, again, is give a little bit more clarity and some specific examples, okay? So again, you don't need to buy this stuff here. You don't need to buy exactly what I'm showing you. I want you to be focused on the big picture behind what I'm sharing here, okay? Now, I'm going to show you actually what this looks like, okay? What our Amazon storefront looks like here. I'm going to share my screen with you, okay? And let me pull this guy up here if I can. Okay, yeah. So when you come here, okay, and if you ladies watching, if you could just give me a thumbs up and let me know that you see this okay before I move on here. A thumbs up, a hey, something, that would be very helpful just because there's a little bit of a lag on Amazon here. Okay. All right, so so let's jump in here. Now, there's a few different things in here, I should say, okay? And again, I don't care if you buy any of this stuff. This is stuff that is science-backed, backed by research. Also, there are things that I use personally that I really like and recommend. And then there are other things that a lot of ladies in our program have used as well. Okay, a great example would be the walking pads, for instance. Okay, and maybe I'll do another live on those at some point. But there's all kinds of different stuff. Protein packed snacks, okay, gym accessories and equipment. What we're going to focus on here are two things. We're going to focus on this one and this one over here, okay? Now, the first one I want to focus on is the supplements not to buy, okay? And as it says at the top here, these are the supplements that don't work and or most women get ripped off by purchasing, okay? Now, here's a good one here, okay? For her, protein for her. That's that pink tax that we talked about. Literally, if you thought I was joking, pink label, okay? That's the pink tax. You don't need this, in fact, and I'm just going to go into this here. I'm just curious, okay? A lot of the times when you go in and you look at the label and you compare something like this is pretty tiny here. You compare something like this to just a regular whey protein. Now this one isn't too bad here, although it has a bunch of extra crap that you don't need. A lot of the times it's got more calories, okay? And like this one, a bunch of extra crap that you don't need. You don't need a thermogenic complex in your whey protein that has green tea and other stuff, okay? Ladies, you don't need this stuff. And again, I really urge you to keep it simple, all right? Here's a good one, cortisol, okay? A cortisol supplement for women. Now, each of these things here in and of itself, some of these things that are in this can be helpful and can be worthwhile supplements, okay? Like magnesium. Ashwagandha is that's something that's got some research backing to it or some science-based backing around stress and anxiety and things like that. L-theanine is another one. I'll just mention this, for you ladies that really love your caffeine, okay, but you find that or even maybe you use a pre-workout or something like that, but you find that you get the jitters or something. L-theanine actually counteracts the negative effects of caffeine. So if you were looking for a pre-workout supplement, for instance, what I would be looking for is something that has L-theanine with it, because the jitters and all those other things, sometimes the anxiety that can come along with it, things like that, it can help kind of fight some of that, okay? Now, this is a big one. Ladies, the GLP-1 patches. The GLP-1 patches, please stop this shit, okay? I've seen, I don't know how many, I have to unfollow, unfortunately, so many ladies every single day that are selling these bullshit patches, okay? Please stop. These do nothing. These do nothing. If it is not a GLP-1 that you are getting from your doctor, okay, or is a prescription, it's not doing anything. I can't be more clear about that, okay? I want you ladies scrolling past this crap. Ignore. These are what I call shiny objects. Ooh, over here, shiny object. Ooh, over here, shiny object. This is why you're wasting your time. This is why you can't lose the weight. You're focused on all these little things that do not work. GLP-1 patches, great example, okay? Detox teas. Ladies, I'm going to tell you something. When it comes to detoxing, if you have a working liver and you have working kidneys and you drink enough water, you do not need to detox anything. Your body knows how to detox itself. A lot of crap around this out there. Please ignore it, okay? You don't need to do any of this stuff. I hear oh yeah, you add turmeric and lemon and hot water. Just stop. Stop, okay? But especially don't go spend money on this stuff. Absolute crap, okay? Absolute crap. I can't stress that enough. Now, fat burners, okay? This is a 2-in-1. It's for women and it's a fat burner. Now, here's one that I want to point out. I was mentioning creatine earlier, okay? Now, you don't need, I'm going to show you what to get in terms of creatine in a moment. You don't need any fancy creatines. You don't need gummies. You don't need anything like that. You need to keep it really simple, okay? You just need creatine monohydrate. I'm going to show you what that looks like here in just a moment, okay? And an example of what I use and what I would suggest. Now, here's a big one. Some ladies are going to get upset about this, okay? Because they're part of the cult. They're part of the Athletic Greens cult, okay? Look, you want to use a green supplement to get a little bit more fiber in and some what we would call micronutrients or some other vitamins. That's fine. But look, this is a great example. I'm going to take just a moment here, okay? I got little girls I got to go help put to bed here in a moment. But this is the deal. Athletic Greens, great example. Why have they gotten so big? Well, because they've poured a lot of money into paying celebrities and influencers to help talk you into this stuff. Extremely overpriced, okay? Extremely overvalued in terms of what you actually get out of it. You don't need this. You want to use a green supplement? Fine. I don't know that you really need it. It's not going to help you directly lose any weight. I want to be clear about that, okay? But if you want to use one, just get a basic green supplement, okay? Real simple. BCAA is probably one of the biggest scams. There's a couple in my top 3. BCAAs are up there, okay? Branched chain amino acids. Now, branched chain amino acids are found in protein naturally, okay? You're going to get branched chain amino acids out of whey protein and other protein sources, okay? So number one is if you're using whey protein, for instance, you don't really need to be using BCAAs, okay? Now, if you want an expensive water flavoring supplement, use BCAAs, okay? Here's the problem with BCAAs. You use them, you end up urinating most of it out, okay? You pee most of it out. Total waste of money, okay? Total waste of money, all right? Now, again, look, I don't want you ladies to get upset with me here. I'm going to be direct with you because I don't like I don't like to see you getting scammed and taken for a ride. Let's stop this. Okay, please. Okay. BCAAs, the last one here, another one. Okay, a whey protein for women. Okay. Now, what I want to go into here is I want to talk about the stuff that actually works. Okay. I want to talk about the stuff that you should be paying attention to. I'm going to preface this again here. I don't care where you buy this stuff. You could literally go buy the exact same product I'm about to suggest to you, or products, not on my page. Great. At least I know you're not getting ripped off. Okay? Again, if you choose to buy it here, I've got the link in the comments. Okay? I'm going to make a few cents off of it. Thank you. Okay? But most of all, thank yourself for not wasting more money. All right? And getting ripped off. So let's look at these here. Okay? And again, if you want to go check out the storefront, okay, you can see this over here. It's in the Zero BS supplements. Okay? The stuff that works. And again, you can see it up top here. These are the supplements you should focus on. Everything else is noise and marketing. Products with a check, okay, so some of those are below here in the description. So if you click on these, there's a little description. Those are the supplements I would suggest starting with, and I'll cover those for you, okay? Everything else in here is considered helpful, okay? But really it would be considered secondary. I'm going to go to kind of the main ones, okay? Now, the first one that's popping up here, again, not sexy, ladies. This isn't a sexy supplement. Vitamin D. Highly, highly recommend vitamin D. There's a particular kind that you need to be using and that you need to think about for maximum absorption. Vitamin D with vitamin K, okay? That helps with absorption. Now, this is also a fat-soluble supplement. You need to be taking it with food, okay? And you need to be taking it every day. Now, when it comes to taking these things, most of these things you need to be taking every day. I suggest putting this stuff out, where it's right there, you can see it, and you're almost forced to take it every day because you actually see it there, okay? It's not going to do anything if you don't take it, obviously, okay? But here's a good example of this. Now, I want to show you kind of what this looks like. This is a no frills, no fancy label. There's a brand, but it's not really like a known brand name necessarily, okay? This isn't something you're going to see advertisements for. This isn't something that you're going to see some influencer on TikTok pimping out to you, okay? Now, the dosage is going to vary, okay? And I should have said this early on. This is not medical advice, okay? I always want you to check with your doctor and get feedback before you start taking any of this stuff, okay? Now, this is a higher dose, okay? But a lot of the times around like 2,000 IUs or so, that would be a good dose, okay? And again, this is going to help with your energy. This is going to help bone health. And actually, again, there's some research that shows that this can directly help with weight loss. In fact, I haven't mentioned this to any of the ladies in our program, but one of the new pieces of research to come out on vitamin D talks about how taking vitamin D, supplementing with vitamin D, and getting enough can actually help you to burn muscle easier. Now, this is something that's been kind of hypothesized for a while, and it's one of the reasons that I recommend it is because the research hasn't necessarily backed that up, but I've seen that with a lot of our clients. They just have an easier time building lean muscle and toning up and getting stronger. And some of the ladies that are going in getting DEXA scans, some of the ladies in their 60s and 70s, and they're looking at their bone health, which they should be, and a DEXA scan just shows you your bone density, okay? The ladies that are lifting in combo with taking a vitamin D, they're the ladies that don't have to worry about things like osteoporosis, okay? So I highly, highly recommend taking a vitamin D supplement. And again, if you have any questions about this, go ahead and let me know, okay? Now, the next one I'm going to go to here is the creatine monohydrate, okay? I'm going to tell you, I usually don't even like to share this if I'm being honest, but this is what I take. Okay, I don't really like to share. People will ask me, "Well, Jonathan, what do you take?" It doesn't matter. I want to show you ladies how to fish. I don't want you to be reliant on an advertisement or what you think sounds good or what some influencer is telling you. I want to show you how to be aware of what's going on, why it is or how it is that you've been getting kind of scammed and ripped off, and how to make smarter choices as a consumer. I want you to be a knowledgeable consumer, not someone that's just wasting a bunch of money on crap they don't need, okay? But look, this is what I use, okay? Again, no frills, okay? There's nothing special about this. It is a brand. This is a popular brand on Amazon called Nutricos. Notice that there's no pink in sight, that there's no flashy, helps build muscle, will burn fat, and there's none of that crap on here, okay? There's none of that stuff, all right? Now, I'm going to point something out really important, okay? And it's what's on the label here, okay? And I'm going to zoom in on this guy for you, okay? What you need to be very, very careful with is the labels. I want you looking at labels, okay? You need to be looking at the labels because you need to be avoiding anything and everything that has proprietary blends. A proprietary blend, for example, would be like an energy blend, okay? And it just says energy blend, 3,000 milligrams. Well, you don't know what's in there. You have no idea. The Herbalifes, the Optavias, the Beachbodies, all of these big multi-level marketing scams, okay? I want to be clear. I'm not out of line when I say this. These are scams. Why? They are getting sued on a very regular basis for defrauding the end consumer, which is you. They are getting sued on a very regular basis for defrauding the people that are selling this crap because 99% of those ladies lose money too. So please, in 2026, let's not get reeled into any multi-level marketing scams by our former high school friends that send us a cold DM saying they've got some amazing business opportunity they want to share with us. Ladies, come on. So let's wise up to this stuff. Let's wise up to this, okay? So this is a good example here of what you should be looking at. We want creatine monohydrate, and guess what's in it? Creatine monohydrate. Nothing more. Not a bunch of extra crap that you don't need, okay? Creatine monohydrate, that's it, okay? So now how do you take creatine monohydrate? With creatine monohydrate, you need to be taking it every single day, whether you're training or not. Okay? Again, you take it every single day, whether you're training or not. Now, the dosage typically with creatine is 5 grams. What we recommend taking is 10. Okay? Here's why. 5 grams is enough to saturate your muscles, which is great. Okay? 10 grams is enough to saturate your brain, which means you're going to get those cognitive benefits. You're going to get more of the energy benefits. You're going to get more of the benefits that reduce brain fog, okay? Really cool study lately that was shown about sleep deprivation in women. So they took sleep-deprived women, they gave them higher dosages of creatine, okay? And it completely negated the sleep deprivation. So look, ladies, going into their perimenopause years, dragging a little bit. I hear from you all the time. Hard getting up in the morning, don't want to get out of bed, hitting snooze 50 times. Okay, afternoon dip, right? Feeling sluggish all the time. New moms, okay? Sleep interrupted. Not even new moms necessarily. We got a 2 and a 5-year-old and we're still getting woken up at night. Okay? So maybe moms in general, okay? And maybe even grandmas watching the kids, okay? This is for you. You should be considering, I highly, highly recommend taking creatine monohydrate, okay? All right? And again, ladies, if you're watching this and you have any questions, please be sure to drop them so I can answer them for you, all right? Now, creatine's a big one, and look, they have flavored versions and all that stuff that you can get, okay? Super great value here, okay? There's nothing sexy about this, okay? But look, it's a decent price, $20, and you're getting, 100 servings. So really, if you were doing 10 grams, you get 50 servings. That's great. Okay, that's perfect. That's what you should be looking for. I hope that clears up the creatine thing. Again, you don't need anything special. You don't need gummies. I wouldn't do pills. I would keep it nice and simple. You can drop this in your tea. Oh, and let me say this about creatine. Creatine is not a stimulant. You're not going to feel anything when you take creatine, and there's very little side effects as well. You're not going to feel anything at all. So it's just, again, it's such a great supplement. It's not going to pump you up like caffeine or anything like that. It's just got so many benefits. I'd highly, highly recommend taking it. But again, you don't need anything. You don't need anything special. You don't need anything with any crazy labels or anything. The basic stuff works. Okay. So I've got a few of the creatine monohydrates here. Okay. Now whey protein. Let's talk about this. This is a big one. Okay. Again, NutriCost. And I don't usually share this. This is what I use. Okay. This is what I use. Now, looking at things also that are third party tested, like this is also a big one. Okay. This is a good example. So, NutriCost is a good one. There's another one called Bulk Supplements that I recommend. Very similar, where it's just like basically, again, no frills. You get what you pay for. It's third party tested. And there's not a bunch of extra crap that you don't need, and it's not overpriced, okay? Now, this is a little bit interesting here. Maybe they change this one. The one I get, I think, is 120 calories typically. But look, still good, okay? 140 calories. And if we go to here, the label, okay, again, compared to the other one that we looked at earlier, all right? What are you going to see? Are you going to see an energy blend? Are you going to see green tea extract and all the other crap that we saw in that other? No. Okay? You're not. You're not going to see all that. Okay? What you're going to see here is, if I can find the ingredients label, maybe I just need to zoom out a little bit. Where are we? Am I missing it? Okay. Well, maybe I'm... Yeah, maybe I'm missing it here. Okay. I know it's in the photos, okay? But what you're going to see is... Oh, it's at the bottom. Sorry. It's just right underneath, like where it usually is, okay? Whey protein isolate. Like, that's the first ingredient. That's what you want, okay? Now, something worth kind of thinking about, just an extra tidbit here, okay? There are two types of whey protein that you're going to see typically. There's whey protein concentrate and whey protein isolate, okay? The whey protein isolate is going to cost a little bit more, but I would argue that it's worth getting, okay? It's going to be easier to digest, okay? And it's typically just a higher quality protein. So, look, something's better than nothing. If you have to go with the concentrate, that's great. What you want to avoid is anything that says protein blend, okay? Anything that says protein blend. You just want it to say whey protein isolate or whey protein concentrate, one of the two, depending on what you're buying. Again, you don't want or need any extra stuff here, okay? But this is a great product. 140 calories. Gosh, if I can keep it here. 140 calories, 30 grams of protein, okay? Now, if you want to get something cleaner, I'm not going to argue with you on that. I think that's a lot of the times just kind of what I would consider majoring in the minors, okay? But look, it's got things like sunflower lectin in it. It's got natural flavors, okay? And it's got sucralose. Look, ladies, I don't know about you. I don't want to drink something that tastes like crap. Again, sugar doesn't make you fat. Artificial sweeteners don't make you fat. When you look into things like artificial sweeteners, you see that there's a lot of fear-mongering around that. A lot of headlines, okay? Very similar to what happens with supplements, okay? So I'll let you kind of do your own due diligence on that, but I would kind of steer you in the direction of thinking about, is the artificial sugar the problem, or is it the 30 pounds of fat that I've got around my waistline? Like, how do I get that off? Let's think big picture here. It would be my suggestion, okay? So, ladies, I'm going to touch on one more maybe here, and maybe if there's any that kind of stand out to me. Okay, fish oil, another great one. Okay, another great one for ladies over 35 for joint health, for brain health. Can also make weight loss even easier. Okay, collagen peptides. I'll touch on this very briefly here. Okay, because this is a big one. So, collagen peptides or collagen protein, all right? Now, if you were deciding between whey protein and collagen, I would go whey protein 100%. Okay, that is going to give you the most bang for your buck. Okay, and sorry, I thought I had stopped sharing here. Collagen protein versus whey protein, I would go with the whey protein for sure. Okay, that's going to give you the most bang for your buck here. The collagen, I mean, look, there are some benefits. There's a lot of stuff that gets talked about, like, it repairs tendons and ligaments and all that. No, there's no research that shows that, okay? It can help with your hair and nails. This is something, like I touched on earlier, this is one where I would consider this secondary. If you're already using a whey protein supplement, then you can come in and use something like collagen. But it's really primarily just about bumping up the total amount of protein that you're getting throughout the day. Okay, there's not going to be any magic bullet in this anywhere. What you really need to be thinking about more so than anything is how much protein am I getting total? So if you want to drop some collagen peptides, in your coffee or something like that, great. But whey protein should still be the priority, okay? I think most of these are going to be, like melatonin, things like that. Most of these are kind of going to be bonuses here. Okay, I do have a multivitamin that's pretty good. Okay, and doesn't have a bunch of extra junk in it. And again, this one says this is kind of the exception here for women. Okay, because it has a bit more zinc, it has a bit more magnesium, and it has iron as well. Okay. But again, those are all things that would work for me, would work for men. Okay, it's just the formula is geared a little bit more towards women, so it can be helpful, but you shouldn't be getting charged anymore because of that or anything like that. Okay, so look, ladies, I hope this was helpful. Okay. If you have any questions, and hey, Sandy, good to see you. If you ladies have any questions here before I hop off in the next 30 seconds or so, pop them in on supplements. I'm happy to answer them, okay? Or anything you're curious about that I can help you out with, I'm happy to answer them. If you're watching the replay and you have any questions about anything I touched on or any supplements at all, go ahead and drop those below as well, and I'll answer them. Now, again, if you want a simple place to start with supplements, you can check out the Amazon storefront. The link is in the comments, okay? You can use it to compare labels, okay? Or just use it, as education, basically, okay? I don't care where you buy this stuff. I want to be really clear about that. This is not a money maker, okay? This is used for educational purposes to show you how to be a more informed, woman that wants to get in shape. Basically, I don't want to say consumer. I just want to say fit woman, a more informed, fit woman. So, ladies, let's leave all this crap in 2025. The MLMs, the GLP-1 patches, the cortisol. Stop it. Okay, it's noise, shiny objects. Again, this is all designed to get your attention and distract you from the stuff that really works. Why? Because when you get distracted, you fail, and when you fail, what happens? You're going to spend money on something else, okay? But the bottom line is I want you to stop wasting money on stuff that doesn't work. Now, if what you've heard here or in any of my other lives or any of my content was helpful, you've been seeing all the awesome transformations from the ladies that we help inside the Fit Woman formula, and you're ready to unlock the energy and confidence of your 20s while dropping 2+ sizes in the next 12 weeks, you can click the other link in the comments. You can learn more about what we do inside the Fit Woman formula, how we do it, what makes us different. You can hear a ton of testimonials, okay? And I encourage you to check those out and reviews from ladies that have worked with us. And if you want to chat about working together, you can book a call. That's going to be on my calendar, okay? I will personally be on the call with you. And this isn't an invitation to work together as much as it is an invitation for me to try and help you, okay? And if it's a mutual fit, then we'll talk about the details and we'll go from there. A lot of you ladies, you want to know how much it is and all that. We have so many different options, okay? We have a range of solutions. It really just depends on the person. A lot of the times someone asks me how much it is, I want to say $10,000 because you have no idea what it is. There's zero context. So if you're interested, let's chat, let's meet, let's see if it's a good fit. Let's see if we can help you first and foremost. And if it is, then we'll talk about all that, okay? Yeah, you can book a call with me if you want. Now, I see Sandy, yeah, so you came in a little bit late. I was talking about magnesium, okay? Magnesium can be great. Now, like any of these supplements, not a magic bullet. What I would kind of think about here is okay, do I have a good foundation in place already? Now, knowing you, you probably do, okay? So I'm going to say if my movement is down and I'm getting some exercise, if if my nutrition is under control, okay, and I'm getting enough protein and sleep, and I'd love to know specifically kind of what your no, that's okay. I'll answer your question now. What specifically are you thinking about with magnesium? Okay, so all I was going to say is that that you have some type of sleep routine, okay, and then I would say you're using a whey protein, you're using creatine, okay, and I would even say definitely using vitamin D, okay, and I would probably even put a good fish oil supplement above this, okay. Yeah, so in regards to sleep, it can be a really big help, okay? And I'm going to mention one that I didn't talk about here, okay? And it's actually a combo. I'm giving away all the good stuff, but you're in the members community, so I would share this with you anyway. So this is called ZMA, okay? ZMA, and actually I need to add this again. I'm just going to reply to you here. ZMA, okay? And what this is I would prefer this. I take this myself. I would prefer this over just magnesium, okay? Now, on our page here, what we do have is like Calm, okay? This is a really popular one, magnesium citrate, okay? This is great, all right? This is fine. Some people really like this. Some people don't. I would say for the most part, people like this product, okay? Now, what I would recommend over this, again, is ZMA. And what ZMA is, it's zinc, magnesium, and vitamin B6, okay? I like this combination better than just the magnesium, okay? Because it's going to help your recovery a bit more. It's going to help you get, I feel like, and from the research that I've seen, a bit deeper sleep. So that is the route that I would go. I would recommend taking ZMA over magnesium if you're thinking about using it for sleep, okay? Really good question. And Sandy, any other ladies watching, if you're watching the replay, drop the questions below. I got a dash. I hope this was helpful, okay? Again, if you have any questions or anything, drop them in and I'll be happy to get back to you. Ladies, I hope you have a great evening. Talk soon.